All right, let's dive right in. Technology, as you know, is changing everything, and that includes our schools and universities. We're right in the middle of this huge digital shift in how we teach and learn, and today we're going to break down exactly what that means and, more importantly, why it matters.
And this quote right here, it gets straight to the point. The key words, significant transformation. We're not just talking about putting a few new computers in a classroom. Oh no, this is a complete, fundamental break from how things used to be done, with tech moving from the edges right into the very heart of the learning process.
So let's really dig into the scale of this change. Our source calls it a fundamental departure for a reason. We are genuinely moving away from the kind of classrooms that many of us grew up with and into something else entirely.
And this slide right here really captures what that shift looks like. You know, on one side, you've got the old model, sitting passively in a lecture, lugging around heavy textbooks, a one-size-fits-all approach for everyone. But on the other side, you've got the new goal, active participation, dynamic content, and learning experiences that are actually personalized. It's really the difference between just having information broadcasted at you versus being an active part of understanding it.
Okay, so that brings us to a really big question. What's actually powering all this change? I mean, it's not just a nice idea, right? There are specific technologies that are the engine here, and they are totally rewriting the rules of the game in education.
So we're talking about two main drivers here: interactive tools and, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. Now, an interactive tool could be something like a virtual lab, where a student can do a full dissection without ever touching a scalpel. And AI, well, it's way more than just a buzzword. It's helping to create lesson plans that can adapt in real time. Just imagine, one student is struggling with a math concept, and the AI instantly gives them a little video tutorial to help. Meanwhile, their classmate who already gets it, they're given a more advanced challenge. It's pretty amazing.
But here's the crucial point. These tools have a very specific job. This isn't about using tech just for the sake of using tech. The real goal here is to fundamentally change how students engage with what they're learning, to turn them from being passive listeners into active participants in their own education.
And see, when you focus on engagement like that, you're doing so much more than just throwing some new gadgets into an old system. What's really happening is we're building an entirely new framework, a whole new infrastructure for how learning actually takes place, one that's designed for the world we live in today.
And this new framework, it follows a really logical flow. First, you use these new interactive tools to get students way more engaged. Second, you use modern platforms to manage and share all that knowledge way more effectively. And what happens when you do those two things? You get deeper, better academic comprehension. It's a whole integrated system.
So, when we use a term like modern platforms, what are we really talking about? Well, think of them as the digital infrastructure that makes this whole thing work. They're the backbone, right? They support those interactive tools and the AI, and they handle everything from delivering course materials to tracking student progress. They make the entire process feel seamless.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But that brings us to what's probably the most important question of all. Why? I mean, what's the ultimate goal of this massive technological shift? Why does it matter? You know, the end goal is actually powerful because it's so simple. It's all about creating a more streamlined learning environment. All this innovation we've been talking about, the AI, the cool interactive tools, the platforms, it's all designed to remove the friction and make the path to knowledge as clear, direct, and effective as it can possibly be. So at the end of the day, this whole digital transformation is creating a learning environment that is, yes, more streamlined and way more effective. But maybe the most important part is that it's an environment that's actually suited for the current era. It's preparing students for a world that is itself digital, dynamic, and always changing. And that leaves us with one last really interesting question to think about. We've seen the model, we've seen the potential. But is this digital framework really the future for every single classroom everywhere? It's a powerful thought to end on.